in the moment it felt like the world was literally like crashing down on us, and that was the hardest decision ever to make. But obviously looking back at that decision, it was the best decision we ever made.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Good Good podcast. Today, we're taking a deep dive into Garrett Clark's, what would you say, your life?
Sure, yeah.
There's everything Garrett Clark, nooks and crannies, your whole story.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
It's going to get deep. I have a feeling it's going to get deep. I've done, I think, 2 podcasts ever, maybe more. I don't know. But I feel like I've done 2 full podcasts, but it was never like something where everything was touched on, if you will. Yeah, so you're going to touch on all of me.
We're touching everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Well, I guess, are you ready to get into it? Can we just rip it right in? Well, start of social media. So I guess first off, when did this all begin with you? It was Instagram?
Yeah. So social media, I think we have to go back to, I want to say 2010. Might have been 2010. So my dad had a YouTube channel, and my dad was always like the dad who had the home video camera out. You know Jerry.
Oh, yeah.
You know Jer.
Big Jer.
He would always have like the home video camera out, and he would film literally everything. And as kids, I feel like we were always annoyed. But then when I got older and I was like 10 years old, I had hobbies that I did as every kid does. Like I played the piano, I played with Legos, I played soccer and like some of that too, Max. And I just picked up my dad's video camera and I just started filming everything. I did a bunch of research on like how to post to YouTube, because I would also get on YouTube and like watch a tutorial on like how do you play this song on the piano, or how do you build this with Legos, or how do you kick a soccer ball this certain way, or whatever. And so I was like, I feel like I could probably post videos like that. Why not? Like, so I did research on. It's kind of crazy to think back to like being 10 years old and researching on a computer how to post a YouTube video. But, if you think about it, a lot of creators did this, like Max and Colin did the same thing. They learned very young, and I was, again, just around the camera. So did the research and started just posting anything and everything that I was doing from probably like age 10 until literally now. So I've been, even pre-golf, I had a Lego channel, literally like a channel that had, I think, 2,000 to 3,000 subscribers at the age of like 11, and I was monetized. So I literally was like making money on a Lego channel at the age of 11 to like 13, I think. But I had to get my mom to like fill out all the information because I was too young. Like, I don't even know if I should be saying this, because like I don't think legally I could.
Your mom doing the paperwork?
Yeah, like my mom was technically the one getting paid.
She's the owner. We can say that. She was behind it all.
Yeah. She's basically, she is. And so she was like making all of the money from that YouTube channel and then just giving me cash. And it was probably like $30 a month or something. But it was enough as a little kid to just be like, whoa, this is kind of cool. Like, you could do this. You could actually make money at social media.
Yeah, no, it's so fun. And that accounts. It's Lego Garfunkel. Yeah. Like, what is that name? Where did that come from?
Dude, so the name of the channel was Lego Garfunkel. It's not anymore, and I'm actually pretty bummed about this, but I lost my login info, and it was after I had made every video private and changed the name of the channel. So I wish I could go back and watch these videos. I have no way to get into the channel. It's not called Lego Garfunkel anymore, so I don't even know how to find the channel.
Dude.
Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, let's see if we can pull that up. But no, I remember that because also your father was doing Jurassic Clark.
Yeah.
Right? Wasn't that?
Dude, it must have just ran in the family.
It was just like, you guys were just content machines. But like, so you were into it early on. You saw, I guess, probably seeing that you could make money at that age might have lit a fire. I'm just guessing.
It was one of those things when I saw it early on, I was like, whoa, this is actually possible. Even though it was, $10 to $30 a month or something, They used to call it getting partnered, I think, right, Max?
The partner program.
Yeah, it's a partner program. And so instead of like getting monetized now, which is what they call it, and like every channel that has 4,000 watch time hours and 1,000 subscribers can get monetized now. Back then it was a little bit different, where I had to like go to this third party and get partnered through them within YouTube, and it was a way harder process to actually make money within YouTube. And again, I'm still shocked that I figured that out at the age of like 10 to 13 or however old I was, but I did. And that's definitely like, that was like a spark. It was like, whoa, you could actually make some money at this. So
no, it's cool. I like that. And I know like obviously that segued into golf, like we've talked about this on the pod and you've talked about this before, but like the way you got into golf slowly, but like how'd you then decide to make golf content? Like, just, was it you already knew the content game and you're like, I'm gonna make golf videos, or like what? Tell me that story.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of a longer story behind it, but so like age 13, almost turning 14. I've told this story, so I'll keep it super brief. I've told this story a couple times on other podcasts, but I played soccer at the time, and my neighbors were they were trying to convince me to go play golf. And so finally one day I was like, yeah, I guess I will. I'll try it out. And I thought golf was kind of a lame sport. I just thought it was like a old man's game. It wasn't
sport, by the way. You just called it a sport.
Yeah, I was about to say I thought it wasn't a sport. I still don't think golf's a sport, but we can get into that later. Anyways, I just thought it was kind of lame. I was like, this is stupid. Like, you're hitting a little white ball around a field. Like, it can't be that hard, right? And I played baseball, soccer at the time. They convinced me to go to this par 3 course, get on the last hole, 85 yards, and make a hole-in-one. First time ever playing golf on an actual course. And everyone, like, tackled me. I had probably 6 or 7 friends there, like all of my neighbors, and they tackled me. And they were all going crazy, and I was like, oh, this is so sick. But I didn't know. In my head, I was literally like, isn't that what you're supposed to do? Like, you're supposed to make it in the hole, right? Yeah. Like, I genuinely had no clue what golf was. I just was like, oh, yeah, like, that's a good shot. But, like, I'm going to do that all the time if I start playing the sport, right? Like, you just think, because it's like, that's all I knew. And little did I know, it's nearly impossible to make a hole-in-one. But at the time, I was like, oh, so I guess I'm good at this or whatever. And that's honestly why I started golf, because that adrenaline rush when my friends tackled me and we all like ran up to the green and we're all going crazy and they're like saying how insane it was, and I'm like kind of confused. I was like, whoa, this is probably the coolest feeling on planet Earth. And that's why I started golf.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, everyone talks about now, like, it's like the shots that keep him coming back or whatever. That's like the ultimate shot.
Yeah.
To keep you coming back.
Oh, 100%.
Like, that just hooked you from the beginning.
But when I made the hole-in-one, Max was asking, like, did you have a moment where you went home and you were like, this is it? Because I was playing 2 sports at the time, made the hole-in-one, and all of my neighbors knew that I was known for picking up a hobby or a sport, doing it for a while, like super hard, getting pretty good at it, and then just quitting it. It was like my thing. I was just known for it. And they told me, I remember my neighbor, John Russell, if you're watching this, and my front entryway in Kansas City, when I was 13, he walked in, he's like, this is just going to be another sport that you quit, right? And I was like, I promise you I will play this sport till the day I die. And I said, wow. I swore to him. I said, I swear to you I will play this sport till the day I die. This is my sport. When I made that hole-in-one, it was literally the day of, and obviously still playing golf. But yeah, that is a crazy question, because that was a vivid memory for me at the very beginning.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but then, I mean, to finish your question, like getting into social media, it was probably 2.5 years of me playing golf before I realized I wanted to download Instagram. And it's kind of funny. I've never told this story. I don't think I've told this story. I had a crush on a girl that was kind of like a family friend, and I like didn't have her number and no way to contact her. And I just got a phone at like age 15 going into 16. So I told my mom, I was like, I really want to get Instagram. but she was so anti like Instagram, Snapchat, and stuff like that. As a parent, I think she just wanted to like guard me, because my sister had gotten Instagram from like 16 until, you know, however old she was. She was probably 20 at the time. So my mom was like super sensitive to it and was like, no, you're not getting Instagram. Like, you have to give me a reason, and basically like quit begging me to get Instagram in order for like me to let it slide. And so I was like, oh, like it'll be for golf. Like, I'll post my golf swing on Instagram to get in touch with college coaches and use it as like a recruitment.
Sly dog.
Yeah. And that was like my roundabout way of telling my mom, like, this would be so beneficial for me to get Instagram. And she made me a deal. I remember when we were at Brighton, actually. She made me a deal. She was like, give it 1 month. Don't keep asking me for 1 month. Just stay patient and you can get it, which I don't know why my mom did that, but shout out Tammy. And I did. I waited a month, and on the literal 31st day, I remembered. I was like, okay, Mom, I can get Instagram now. And she's like, what? You know it by the day? I was like, yeah, I've been waiting. So she let me get Instagram, and it is funny. Like, the whole reason was I wanted to like DM this girl that I kind of had a crush on at the time when I was like 16, and I was like scared of talking to girls. And so I slid into the DMs. Yeah, I did.
I wish we could see what you said.
I actually, I wonder if I could see. I don't know.
It's probably crazy.
Yeah, no, it's probably like, hey.
Yeah.
No, so I slid into the DMs, but I started 2 accounts because I was like, now I've signed myself up for a contract essentially with my mom. Like, I'm not going to lie to her, okay? I'm going to post golf stuff. So I made 2 accounts. I made my personal account, which is Garrett J_Clark, and then I made Garrett Golf, which is now GM Golf. Mm-hmm. And that's like the initial start of everything, I guess.
What age was that?
That would have been fall of 2016. So I was 16.
You were 16. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think like that was probably right when we met, around a similar time.
Yep.
And I, from like the perspective of like the regular junior golfer in Kansas City, you were known as like the guy that filmed. Like not in a bad way, not
was
in a bad
this
way.
in a negative way?
No,
this is the first time
way.
I'm learning this information.
But I remember I got paired with Garrett in a tournament, and I just remember your dad. We were at Swope Park. Your dad was like in the woods.
Yeah,
he was like a woodsman.
Mm-hmm.
Like woodsman. We were on number 9 at Swope, and your dad's like 100 yards in the woods, like looking for golf balls.
Bro's low key like about to shoot a deer out there.
No, literally. Like, I just remember that was like that was the first time we met. I'm pretty sure it was at Swope, and I just remember your dad. Like, I just think he was the coolest guy. I'm like, he was in like overalls, and he's like hiking through the woods finding golf balls for you. But that's kind of when we met, and I got to know you a little bit more. But just like your dad filmed all your golf rounds.
Yeah.
And that was, this is obviously a little bit later down the road, but that was for YouTube, right?
Yeah. No, that's right time frame. So yeah, Instagram was 2016, but anywhere from, I would say, when I started golf, getting into junior golf, again, I said this, but like my dad was big on the home video camera. He always had it out 24/7. And so whatever I was passionate about, it was my soccer games, baseball games, whatever. When I started playing golf, he started filming the golf stuff. And he did start uploading it to his YouTube channel. There was no traction behind it. It was just a place for like the videos to live. So he could go back one day and see his kid like when he's like older and whatever, which I think is so special. And I'm very grateful that my dad did that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was leading up until 2016. And then he kept doing it for maybe a year after I started doing social media.
Yeah. No, and I just remember that. Like, I mean, I didn't mean anything by that, but simply like you were the guy that was like, you were filming your golf rounds, and like
that's tough.
I always thought it was cool. Like,
yeah.
And obviously you got some traction with that, but like then you ended up building the putting green. I don't know like time frame. I'm kind of off on time frame here.
Yeah.
But I remember you built the putting green in your yard, and I don't know if I'm right by this. It was either the putting green and the slab shots, or it was like the St. Andrews and the light stingers that kind of helped like build your account to actually like get some following, which like
so it was, again, started the 2 accounts, the Garrett Golf account, at the time, my cousin Micah was living in Kansas City with me and my family, and going to Kansas City, Kansas Community College, playing golf.
Represent.
Yeah, represent. Hey, we both played there too.
Come on.
And so basically I asked Micah when I was starting Garrett Golf, I was like, hey, do you want to do this with me? He's like, sure. I like it. Let's do it. Why not? And so we had just recently at that time built a homemade putting green in my backyard. We like took a long time convincing my dad, hey, like let us do this. You know, we'll do it all ourselves. It'll be way under budget. Like that putting green alone probably would have cost like $35,000. And at the time it cost us like $4,000 because we did it all by our own hands. And we did a bunch of research on YouTube, how do you do this, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, we changed the account name to GM Golf very early on, like at the very beginning.
Okay.
And Micah and I started filming some Instagram clips. I think like the gist of what kind of happened there and why Micah was no longer a part of it after GM Golf kind of got underway was he was super busy in college. He had met the love of his life, Katie, who is now his wife. Amazing. Congrats to Micah and Katie. She was living, actually, believe it or not, in Frisco, Texas at the time.
Whoa.
Weird, like, simulation type stuff. But meets Katie, and's, like, super busy with college. And, you know, I obviously noticed that, like, I was grinding on the social media thing. I just instantly fell in love with it, like no other. It was like, it went from golf is my passion to now, like, golf social media is my passion. I want to do this every second of every day. And it was clear like Micah obviously had some other priorities in his life that he was working through. And so we had a discussion like really early on. It was like, okay, we're just going to part ways from this. And it was literally probably at, I want to say 13,000 Instagram followers. It might've been more. It might've been like 30,000 Instagram followers after it, you know, it had built to something.
Yeah.
It was nothing like sustainable, but it was like, okay, it has a little bit of a following. And we made the decision pretty early on. He ended up moving to Dallas and he got married and like freaking life was underway for him and it was underway for me in this other, you know, direction with social media golf. So that was like the Instagram start, I guess,
Sure.
if you will, of GM Golf. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember.
Was that your question? I forgot.
We're somewhere around the right.
What was your question?
I don't remember. Something about the putting green.
It was about the putting. Okay, so yeah, the putting green
that
tied
covered
to the Instagram starting. Yeah,
that covered enough of it. I mean, just from what I remember about you in those days, dude. Like, I remember high school practice. Garrett showing up in slides. For some reason, he loved to play golf in slides. It's the weirdest thing in the world.
It's always been me, guys.
I never could understand it, and it was like cold. Yeah. Like this is spring golf, and Garrett's walking 9 holes in Adidas slides. Like for one, crazy.
Yeah.
But also, like I just remember like high school practice because we ended up going to high school together for a year.
Yeah.
You literally just like, you know, we'd be on the golf course and you're like, oh, let's take a video of this or let's do this, and kind of like I got to see a lot of that early on, which is super cool for me to, you know, now see what it's grown into. But also, Zach Radford used to come to our high school practice and play with us.
Gosh, dude, you're reminding me like so many memories I didn't know I had. Yeah, dude, Max is like, what?
He was, I don't know how old he was. We were
20 probably.
We were juniors in
22.
high school. Yeah. But literally, Zach would come to to Kansas City. I remember I met Zach for the first time at one of our golf tournaments. Like he came to watch you play, and then we would go film videos with him. We filmed like just so funny. Like and now we see Zach still in what we do, but like it's just so weird to think about.
Dude, that is wild to like reminisce on the high school days with you and I. Because we played for Christ Prep Academy. We went to school together at another academy, Brighton.
Yes, Brighton.
Which was like partially homeschooled, partially not. But you had the upbringing of like public school, and then we merged.
Yeah.
We played, I remember we did a par 3 course video. It was one of my first videos on my channel.
At Rivercut.
Yeah. Dude, you and I, we did that. It was like their artificial turf.
Can we link that in this video?
Can we just put a clip? Like, please, yes. Whoever's editing this, we'll put a link in the description down below.
Yes.
That was insane.
So crazy. No, but it is a cool perspective that I've been able to have on your life, and just like starting from that, I remember I was telling Garrett before we started the pod, like when you hit 10K, like we were sitting at the lunch table together. Like I remember it on Instagram, and Garrett's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm doing this thing." I think I thought it was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
No offense.
Most people did.
I was just like, "Oh, it's cool." Like I had no idea what it meant. I had no idea what anything, but you never like, and props to you, like you never let anything affect you. You just kept your head down and grinded. And like you never stopped like grinding. Sorry, this is total glaze, but like it's impressive.
I appreciate that.
Because I feel like also at that age, like if anyone was doing stuff like that on social media, it's like you're kind of like, if you care what people think about you, you're dead. Like you gotta, and you never cared. You just did your thing and grinded. And I'm very like
thank you.
I'm proud of you for that. Like it's sick.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I will say there was like, at least in the YouTube, I can't even say YouTube because we're talking pre-YouTube, like social media, Instagram, stuff like that. There was not that many people doing it, really. There was 3 other people. Coach Rusty, Ryan Rustin. I don't know how to say his last name. Coach Rusty, hole-in-one trick shots, Josh Kelly.
Dog.
And then Paige Spranik.
Yeah.
Paige Renee. Whatever. Yeah. Those were like the only 3 that were really doing it. And I think where like others might have looked at it and been like, oh, this is just weird. Because I will say, like, I had one of my neighbors tell me it was like stupid. Like I remember, there's not many like vivid memories I have when starting, but I remembered every little, not hateful comment, but like I remembered every little thing where somebody doubted me.
Yeah.
Like that, for some reason, at the beginning of Instagram and social media or whatever, like any little doubt that somebody had in me, like just pushed me harder to like want to do it even more. And I found that as such like a cool thing, especially looking back, because I feel like if I didn't have people who were like almost laughing at it in a sense, which is totally normal, like you said, like obviously looking back at it, I probably was a little weird for being like a 16-year-old in high school who should probably be out like hanging out with his friends, but instead is like in his backyard setting up a phone and doing a trick shot.
Setting up tin slabs.
Yeah. Like but this guy's got to be like really special, if you know what I mean. Like that's what everybody was thinking, and I am.
But just like more to sum all that up, like, and just like as your friend, truly, like you did never stop, and it's admirable. It obviously got you to where you were, and like. That's what I'm going to ask you questions later about your work ethic and how you continue to do that.
Yeah.
But I guess like when did
appreciate that.
Of course, yeah. But like when did you actually? Because like I would argue that you kind of shaped the direction of YouTube golf, because you had Rick doing like club reviews, that kind of stuff, right? But you actually took it 4 dudes or whatever playing matches, that kind of style. When did that begin?
Yeah. So okay. I want to nail this. I want to nail this perfectly for the time frame. So we're in 2016, start of Instagram. 2017, still doing Instagram, only Instagram, doing trick shots. Get verified on Instagram, 75,000 followers, or 74.7 thousand followers on Instagram. I got verified. And it was back in the day when you couldn't pay for verification. So it was like a very huge thing for me. I was like, holy crap.
The true badge.
Yeah, like I got the badge of achievement. Like I got the one that you don't have to pay for. This is 2018. And then when I saw the verification, something clicked in my mind. I was like, at this time, I want to say I had made $1,700 in the last 2 years, from 2016 to 2018. And so at that point in time, I was like, I need to figure out a way to actually capitalize on this. Because right now, it's either going to go one of 2 directions. It's going to go the direction where I stop and I get a job at freaking McDonald's or wherever. Or I keep going and I figure out a way to make money at this. And so this is where I kind of channeled my inner 12-year-old back in the Lego days. And I remembered, hey, you can make money at YouTube. So that's when I saw the verification. I tied those things up, had like a moment, if you will, of like, I don't know, whatever, like an awakening, if you will. And so I started posting to YouTube. At the time, I was going into college, and so it was just me. I just started posting anything and everything that I was doing throughout the day with golf, college golf, tournaments, practice rounds, whatever. And around that same time is when Matt Scharf and I started hanging out a lot more. So to rewind, just so there's a little bit of a backstory, Steven Castaneda and I have been friends since we were born. He is my brother. I know he's Hispanic and Native American, and we don't look at all alike. We are brothers. Like, that is my blood brother, essentially. And I've known him since we were born. So Steve and I are brothers. Matt and I met on a golf course right after I started playing at Sunflower Hills when I was 13. So Scharf is basically my brother as well. And, you know, when you have two close friends and you do a lot of stuff with them and you're filming your everyday life, naturally you're going to start filming with those people. And so I was doing a lot of the college golf stuff in 2018 when I started. And Matt and Steve were around. We were always hanging out. So I started filming stuff with them. And it happened very naturally. It was the summer of, it was either 2018 or 2019. It's all a blur. But it was one of those summers. And we started filming a lot of YouTube content. And that's when it was kind of one of those things where, I mean, there's a lot to digest here. That's where it was one of those things where it went from, okay, I'm just filming alone, I'm just doing my everyday life, to how are we going to make this better and catch on? Because at that time when it was just me, it was probably pulling 18 to 100,000 views a video, which was great. Like, that's doing well, but it still wasn't enough for me to like justify doing something like dropping out of college, if you will. I kind of needed to figure out a way to get to that point, because at the time I was playing college golf and I couldn't balance everything with the time of doing YouTube and college golf. And I knew at this point in time, pro golf was not my dream anymore. My dream was to do content and golf stuff. So I was like, I kind of had to make a decision. At that same time, I had a conversation with my dad, went up to him, and I told him, I was like, dude, I hate college. I hate having to balance all this. I feel like if I could go 100% full force into this one thing, I could be successful. And as a dad, like, if you're listening to your kid tell you that, you're not going to sit there and say, hey, yeah, that's a good idea. You know, you're going to look at him and you're probably going to be like, I want my kid to be set and safe and smart with his life. So I want him to have a backup plan, right? Which is what any dad would say. So he told me to stay in college, and therefore I did. But thankfully, coming around the summertime, my dad gave me an opportunity. He set a threshold, because at the time, I want to say I was making $1,400 to $2,000 a month, which is decent money,
so,
but it's not
college.
Yeah, it's great in college, right? Mm-hmm. It's not enough to quit college.
Yeah, can't live off that.
No, I mean, and maybe you could at the very bare minimum, but it's just a risk that my dad didn't want me taking. And so going into the summer, my dad said, hey, here's a threshold. If you hit this threshold within this summer, I'll let you drop out of college.
So you had what, 4 months or 3 months or whatever? Like,
I want to say it was, I think it was 3. It was whenever I actually want to. Can we call him?
Yeah, let's call Jer.
Let's call Uncle Jer.
Please, dude.
Hello.
Wow.
Hey, you're on a podcast.
I'm on a podcast.
It's not live streaming, don't worry. But it's my podcast.
Okay.
We're actually doing like a Garrett Clark interview. Blake is interviewing me, so you can say hi to Blake.
What's up, Jer?
Hey, Blake.
We got to the point in time where you set a financial threshold for me on a number. I can't remember, but it was like, I want to say it was it summer of 2018 or summer of 2019? You gave me a few months to hit a certain threshold, right? Which year was it?
Well, you were entering your freshman year of college, so it was 2018, September, August, you were going to community college, and you wanted to take a gap year because you lost your eligibility. And I said, that looks like an 18-year-old sitting on my couch with a laptop not making money. And so I said, if you can prove to me that you can make money at this, slip into community college, get your basics, and prove to me that you can monetize this and make some money at it. And then you said, well, okay, what do I need to make? And I said, and I thought of, God, what is the most amount of money for an 18-year-old kid? And I'm like, 60 grand.
Wasn't it in 3 months too?
Well, I don't know. I just said 60 grand, but all I remember is your response was, oh, okay. Like, and I was like, this kid has no concept of money.
So like $5 grand a month.
And 60,000. I'm sorry. You have no concept of money because you just like, oh, okay. Like, yes, it's 60K. No big deal. And then we went through that year, and of course it was September. You got monetized right out of the gate. So you took a YouTube channel from scratch to whatever and got monetized right away. And then I started looking at the numbers. Do you want me to share what those numbers were? Because I got them memorized.
Sure.
So like your first month, I want to say was $2,500, and it was 1 week out of the month. And I'm like, that's crazy. And then the next month it went to like 5,000 something, if I remember right. And then it went to 16,000. And I'm like, holy crap, this kid's got lightning in a bottle here. And then when summer rolled around, well, in your last tournament up in Nebraska, I went to your last tournament, and Coach Schrader pulled me aside and he said, hey, we kind of really do have the same rules as the NCAA, and a lot of these coaches are asking questions. They kind of know Garrett's making money, and I'm just like, it's not going to be a problem. And he goes, what do you mean it's not going to be a problem? I said, he's not coming back to college. And he goes, is he making that kind of money?
I didn't know
I said,
that.
oh, yeah. I said, yeah, he's making that kind of money, and there's no way he's coming back to college. And he goes, well, good on him. And so,
Shout out Gary Schrader.
Yeah.
yeah. So we went through the whole summer, and then you go, Dad, we need to talk about the gap year. And I said, you're not getting a gap year. And you said, well, we had a deal. If I made $60,000, that I'd get a gap year. And I've made, it's a number. I don't know if you want me to share it, but
What was it? I actually don't remember.
It was $250,000.
Was it actually? I didn't even know that.
Holy crap.
Well, you had no concept of money. And
Quick quarter mil.
I swear it was. I mean, I'd have to go back and look at the records, but it was obnoxious. And I said, no, you're not getting a gap year. You're dropping out, man. You got lightning in a bottle. You need to ride this wave as long as it'll go. And when it gives out, you can go to college then if you want. But right now, I mean, it's, Jeff Dima was right. You're that 1% kind of weird thing. And that's a whole different conversation, the Jeff Dima conversation. But do you remember that part?
No.
So I called Jeff because the deal was Jeff's family is like serious academia. And so I'm calling him like trying to get help on my son wants to not even go to college. You need to back me on this, give me some ammo. And he heard the story and he goes, your son shouldn't go to college. Garrett should not go. And I'm like, you of all people, I'm calling and asking, trying to get help. And you roll me under the bus like that? He goes, no. He said, there's this like 1% that, college just isn't their deal. And that's what Garrett's got right now. So
Wow.
You need to encourage him to just go for it. And I'm like, all right. So what I do, I hung up the phone and called Matt Boltman and tried to get him to join me. And he kind of did.
Crazy Bull.
But at the end of the day, I was like, I thought it through. And I was like, yeah, he probably ought to just not do college.
Wow.
see what happens.
Wow. Well, appreciate that.
That's insane.
I actually learned some stuff that I didn't know.
We gotta get Jerry on the pod.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to the story behind the scenes, but as a dad, I don't know, you just want your kids to do well, and you don't want them to make stupid decisions. You remember my advice was always take chances, keep your mistakes small.
Yeah, I do remember that. And real adventure begins with no plans. I remember that one too.
And real adventure begins with no plans. That's
I like that
right.
one.
So, you know, sometimes you just got to wing it.
Oh, we sure did.
And when you're young, you really, you can't make mistakes that you can't recover from unless you just make, those really bad decisions. So just, that's all parents want is kids follow their dream and not make stupid mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well, appreciate you taking the call. That's crazy. I actually learned some stuff that I didn't know. That's
Love you, man.
All right. Love you too.
Bye.
See you.
Wow. That was awesome.
I'm happy I called him because I didn't know actually a decent amount of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, first off, what a guy.
Legend.
What a guy. I mean,
Absolutely.
I want to have Jerry on the pod. Imagine a Jerry podcast.
Dude, he can talk.
Imagine Dan and Jerry.
Oh my, both of our dads.
That'd be insane.
The dad episode.
That'd be insane.
That would be crazy.
Well, what Jerry kind of touched on, right, was the NCAA.
Yeah.
I'll let you get into that, but that thumbnail is like burned in my mind. With
Dude.
the freaking NCAA logo, you sitting there next to it, like that. That was a big video for you too, right?
That was the first video that kind of did well. It was really weird because like at the time, this is pre-NIL, and I lost my eligibility before I had made any money. It was because like other media outlets like ESPN and other people were posting my content, and they were making money off of my image and likeness, and therefore that was against the rules. They kind of were lenient about it, but they were just like, hey, if you are pursuing this social media stuff, we can kind of tell, like, make your stuff private or just delete your videos and just don't keep posting if you want to play NCAA golf. And I was like, no, I'm going to try this.
Whatever, yeah.
But it was, I will say, that sucked. Like, in the moment, hearing that, because my goal, I mean, every kid's goal, I feel like when you're pursuing golf, like, you think about NCAA, you think about Division I, Division II, whatever. And that was like my biggest goal was to do that and then like pursue pro. And so when that got shot down, that was really hard at first. But obviously I'm so freaking grateful for that happening now. But
and there was no way for you to know what it would turn into. Yeah. So in that moment, you at that age, like it's you being told your dream is like kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's either like what you got to turn pro and go try it or like do this. Like it's definitely like I can't imagine. Like that had to have been tough in that moment, but
yeah, it was just also like to your point when you were looking at me and like you were kind of laughing like when I hit 10,000, you're like this kind of
I wasn't laughing to be fair.
I know,
but yeah.
But like I know.
But yeah, it's like
cuz I went from the kid that I played like 30 junior tournaments in a summer to the next summer I played 4. And literally everybody was asking me, like, what is going on? Are you okay? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm doing trick shots in my backyard. And, like, thinking back at that.
Yeah. You were Home Depot's best customer. You're buying stocking slabs.
Bro, the #1 slab buyer of all time.
Yeah.
And then, why does this kid keep coming in here and getting these garden slabs? Like, is he okay?
No, it's crazy. I mean, I remember what's funny is like as you tell this, like I'm remembering more about like these times and stuff and all that. But
same.
But yeah, I mean, well, real quick, like not to make this, I don't want to make this about me at all. But I just remember at this time, I went to Hawaii to play college golf. Yeah. And I was super out of touch with your stuff, like because I just didn't really follow. Like I followed you and I would see stuff here and there, and you and I would talk every now and then. Like I remember one time when I was in Hawaii, you FaceTime and we talked for like an hour, like randomly. Yeah, like we kept in touch. But what was crazy for me was I remember I would literally play in golf tournaments, like college tournaments, and I get paired with someone like, oh, you're from Kansas? Do you know Garrett Clark?
Really?
And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I played high school golf with him.
No
like
way.
back then.
That's
like this was
crazy.
20. I was 20. No, I was like 19, 20. And like people, like they would see that they're paired with somebody from Kansas in a golf tournament, and they'd ask about you. They're like, oh yeah, do you know Garrett Clark? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah.
I find that so interesting. That's
crazy.
so cool. But dude, like thinking back to those times, like I remember when you went to Hawaii, I was also like, I was like, dude, Blake's just in Hawaii.
I had to get out of Kansas.
I didn't know what happened to you. Is he okay?
I was surfing.
Bro's literally a surfer boy now. What happened? No, because I mean, obviously, I just remember like Blake was always like Overland Park, Kansas City. Like we were just always hanging out, and then all of a sudden you were just in Hawaii. I was confused. But beyond that, I did find it very interesting, like that stage of life specifically. When I was still doing it kind of alone in college, like in YouTube golf, I was dating a girl at the time who also played college golf. She was better than me, which is crazy. Played Division II college golf. And I remember like whenever I would go to her college, my biggest thing was I wanted to do 90 videos in 90 days. And that was like my thing.
YouTube videos?
Yeah. I just wanted to post and keep grinding, and I would like edit them in her dorm room. I would film them like when I was at her college, and I just always remember feeling so weird. Like in looking back, it was obviously really weird. Like I'm going to this person's college, like where she's playing college golf, and 90% of the time that I'm there, I'm worried about a camera. Like looking back at it, obviously I wouldn't do that now, like just film everything in my life, because I have learned like over time you do need to have your private life as private as possible, and then like when you're on the course you can film it. But back then it was like make or break, and I would just film it all because that's all I knew was gonna work. Like
Totally. Yeah.
I don't know, but it is weird to think like, hey, you had guys in tournaments or people that you were playing with in Hawaii that were like, do you know that Garrett Clark kid? But in person, I felt so weird, like doing it.
Yeah.
It just felt always kind of uncomfortable when I was in those situations and I was filming everything. So the fact that like other people were kind of like, oh, that's cool if you know Garrett Clark. My brain doesn't, I don't know. It's a weird thing to think about.
That was like the first time it clicked for me, like, whoa, Garrett's actually, like, because I always like thought it was cool, but I just didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, so once that started happening, I was like, whoa, like this dude's really getting around. Like, but like, also to your point, like at that time, social media was so like no one was, like you just said, no one was doing it. No one understood that there was money to be made, that it was a whole career path. Where like now, I feel like these high schoolers are all TikTokers and they're all doing video. Like it's way more common now than it was then. Like when we were in high school, nobody was doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and think if you go like even 4 years back to like my sister, like 4 years, if she was, that it was really weird.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a thing.
Yeah. And like we get it now, but like it's like explaining social media now to, you know, someone older.
Yeah.
They don't understand any concept of it. Everyone our age now and whatever age gets it. But like back then, no one, you know, to me, probably you were just filming videos. Like I didn't understand the monetization behind it.
Yeah.
It's just like how like when I explained to my grandparents, good. It's like,
That's so
no,
true.
you know what I mean? It's
That's
like, it's
such a
the
good
same
point.
kind of, we're like, now we kind of, everyone, it's much more normalized. Everyone gets it now.
Yeah.
But okay. So I guess let's keep this train rolling on Garrett's life.
Go.
So start doing the videos. We'll go back to that, Sharf and Steve and doing all that kind of stuff. But then when did like that transition? I want to know how Good became a thing. Or before that though, it was Bro 5.
Yeah, so I'll try and skim through this as quick as I can because it is a lot. So that summer that me, Matt, and Steve started filming a lot, the GM Golf channel specifically went from like 32,000 subscribers, I think, to like 167,000. And it's weird. I actually remember it was 167. Like I'm pretty sure it was like actually 167,000 subscribers.
Wow.
And it was like, that was, you know, the same year that my dad's talking about where it's like, whoa, this is a super viable thing. This can be like something that I know I could actually do long term if I capitalize on this. And around that same time, so I kind of imagine this like, would it be geometry where you have the graphs? Is that geometry?
Like what kind of graph?
Where you have like the lines going up and down.
That would be geometry.
So I would imagine like GM Golf right now is like doing this, right? We're
you're
talking
flatlined.
geometry right now.
Yeah.
We're kind of like just going like this, and then me, Matt, and Steve start filming. This is when I took more of the Mr. Beast mentality, and I was like, instead of filming quantity and uploading every single day, I'll upload 3 days a week, and I'll make sure every video is a cool, unique idea. And then that's when like I started doing that, and me, Matt, and Steve like just did this. It was a rocket ship that summer. Crazy amount of growth. Views were like, especially at the time for YouTube Golf, they were beating out every single person, including like Rick Shields, Peter Finch, all those guys. Like we were literally pulling like 500,000 views at that time.
Holy cow.
Which is nuts to think
with
about.
bare bones editing. Were you editing?
I was editing everything myself, staying up till 4 a.m., ripping coffee, barely sleeping. And at the same time, this guy that me, Matt, and Steve had all like seen before in Dude Perfect videos and like on Vine and stuff like that, Brody Smith, reached out to me. And initially it was like he was actually asking for advice pretty early on. He was like, how are you guys getting so many likes? Like what's the trick here? And we would talk about YouTube, and it was kind of fun to like just converse with somebody who like from age 11 for us wasn't necessarily an idol, but just somebody like we knew. So at the time it was just so cool to like have somebody like that reaching out and like almost, I wouldn't say asking for advice, but just like conversing with us on social media and like bouncing ideas off. And so me and Brody started filming a little bit of content together here and there, and those videos started doing well. And then it was like Brody was like, I want to start a group with you guys. And the whole concept was to like basically be like Dude Perfect and kind of take, like in his brain, it was like kind of take the Dude Perfect route of not just golf, because he's like, I know you guys do golf, but like let's do frisbee, let's do golf, let's do all sports, and kind of take more of a Dude Perfect approach and do this. And so at the time, like when Bro 5 was starting, I didn't think that meant it was just going to be Bro 5, because you got to understand, like everything that we've talked about in this podcast, like GM Golf meant everything to me. That was literally like my baby. Like I created that from freaking ground up, age 16, like for the last 3 years prior to this, and it was doing well. So I didn't want to just walk away from that. Anyways, Bro 5 starts, and it's also a rocket ship, which like at the time Brody was kind of not doing like as much, I think, but then Bro 5, he got this like motivation back, and he started posting a lot, and therefore like all of our combined forces just made this thing go crazy when we launched it. But it quickly turned into something where I think Brody really wanted it to be Dude Perfect, which like if you look at, and I can't say, maybe it wasn't like entirely he just wanted it to be Dude Perfect, but I think, you know, the Dude Perfect format is more of like only one big channel, and everybody doesn't have their separate things that they can do in their own time, right? And it ended up being something where Brody wanted it to just be Bro 5, and he didn't want me doing like GM Golf as well, and like Sharf doing Matt Sharf vlogs and, you know, whatever. And for me, that was just like a no-go. And it was one thing that I never wanted to tap into that. I never wanted to give up GM Golf. And so ultimately that's when like Bro 5 was on this rocket ship and then exploded. And it was because me, Matt, and Steve ultimately decided to leave, which in the moment it felt like the world was literally like crashing down on us, and that was the hardest decision ever to make. But obviously looking back at that decision, it was the best decision we ever made.
Yeah. I mean, and that was like, from what I remember, I remember like a stream song video and like a Pinehurst video from that. Yep. But I think the main thing that like really went viral was those like not even apology video, but like the sitting. Brody posted a sit down video telling his side. You posted a sit down video telling your side?
Nope.
Or who posted? Did somebody post one on the other side?
Yeah, I mean, this is like opening a whole can.
We
of
don't
worms.
have to get into
No,
this.
we
I'm
can't.
just- yeah.
We can't.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's so far in the past. But at the time, we're 19, 20, 21. Brody posts this video, what happened to Bro 5? We're pretty young and naive, and our first response is like to lash out and make a response video and be like, no, this is how it actually went down. Like, this is all where Brody in this video didn't tell the full truth. Like, and dude, it was like the hardest thing for me at that time to not do that. But I was so thankful. Like the guy you just heard on the phone, my dad, he was a big influence in telling me to stay quiet and let it pass, which, because for me, that was so hard at the time. Everybody on social media was talking pretty negatively about me, Matt, and Steve, but like mostly me, because I was the head of that conversation, and I'll wear that. Like, I was the guy that told Steven and Matt, this is not a smart business decision for us, and you know, us giving up our personal freedom is not going to be worth it in the long run. And ultimately, like, that's why we left. And it was hard, but we stayed silent. I think I posted a 6 or 7 minute, just like up and down, like very vague, didn't really address anything. But again, like at the time, I really wanted to. My biggest thing was I was so scared. I was just terrified. Because, like, I didn't really have money at the time, and I was just scared, like, what if we did get into a legal battle, and I'm 19 years old with $200,000 to my name at best, maybe less, and, you know, I'm going against a guy who's 30 years old or 20, whatever, 9, 8, however old he was, and, you know, he has millions in the bank. Like, who's going to win? Even if I'm, you know, right, like, there could be some lawsuit for defamation for misspeaking or something. Like, I just remember being so young and so terrified of everything. Yeah. And also kind of terrified to do social media again when that all kind of unfolded.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely that. I didn't realize you didn't put out anything for that. I just remember maybe seeing his video.
Yeah.
Was that kind of your first, like, would you say, like, I don't want to say controversy, but like first thing you had to deal with in that sense with content?
Yeah, I would say that was the first. Yeah, I mean, like, I had dealt with a little bit at the beginning, just like starting something with Micah and then like breaking away from that. But that wasn't like as hard because it was so early on. But then this, like, receiving everybody online kind of pretty upset with Steve, me, and Sharf, like, that really sucked. I would say that was like the first real kind of like kick in the balls, if you will, in social media.
Dang.
Which honestly, like, very grateful for, because I think that prepared for later things that happen with like Grant, Micah, Luke, and stuff like that. Like, honestly, I think everything, I truly believe everything happens for a reason, and I think that happened for that reason.
I totally agree. And you learn a lot from it. You learn how to deal with people, and just there is like weirdly a lot of stuff that goes down in this business, and for you to learn that early, I feel like it's a good lesson. Definitely. Yeah. Well, let's move past that into something more positive, right?
Sure.
Let's so I want you now to explain, like, how did Good, because like I don't even really truly know this. How did Good begin? Like, what was the steps of that? So,
a lot of steps. First video was Max. When was first video? September. Let me see if I get this right. It's in September of 2020. Let's all take a guess. I'm going September 21st.
12th.
You might be right, actually.
It's my birthday, so I don't know.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What do you?
I think you're right. It's like 20.
Is it 21st?
I don't know.
Let's see. 22nd.
Oh, you were right there.
That was close. Okay, so getting time frame right. Bro 5 ends. Me, Matt, and Steve go back to like doing social media golf, but we were so checked out of it because we had just done this group and we were like just freaking destroyed mentally. And I tried, like, actually at this point in time, right after Bro 5, I brought Micah back. I called him up. At the time, he was living with his wife. I think he was doing construction and partially pursuing pro golf. But he wasn't fully pursuing. I don't know exactly like his story. That would have to be if we do a Micah Morris podcast, which I hope we do.
Definitely.
But post Bro 5, brought Micah back to GM Golf, called him up, and I was like, hey, would you have any interest in this? And I remember at the time he was like so stoked. And I was so stoked. I was just happy to like hear how happy he was for the opportunity. Gave him a salary, and it wasn't like a crazy amount, but at the time it was what I could afford. And I remember for the first 3 months, it was kind of a leap of faith for me to like bring Micah back. And I was kind of like losing money for the first 3 months. And then people like really started to catch on, and they started to really enjoy Micah and I doing these weekly Sunday matches. And that's when it's like, you know, financially the channel started doing better. And then things started kind of like, I felt like I was starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Whereas like we had me and Micah kind of doing our matches, Steven and Matt were doing their thing, but we were all in this group together, and every once in a while we'd film together. And so we had this really cool vibe. And leading into the summer of 2020 is when we were like kind of doing well. And then I want to get this right. So we have our CEO, Matt Kendrick. At the time, they had a guy named Joe Gilliland working for them, who in partial represents Grant right now. And some of the, I think he represents, so JG represents like Joe, the Bryan Bros, Micah, and Luke Kwan right now, I think. And so at the time, it was like him, he was working for our CEO. There's, I don't want to like mess this up too much, but that was kind of like, those were the two initial people on the business side of Good that I met. And it happened very naturally. We got into conversation, and then it got brought to me of like the idea of potentially starting a group, but it was nothing major. Just like, oh, okay, yeah, like whatever. But I was so terrified of starting a group again because of Bro 5. It was just like, you kind of, whatever, it's not going to actually happen. Anyways, Joe sets up this trip to Purcell Farms in the spring, right leading into COVID. And the trip was me, Micah, Sharf, Steve, Bryce Butler, and George Bryan. And at the time, like, George wasn't really doing YouTube, and neither was Bryce. Voice crack. Neither was Bryce. But like me, Matt, and Steve, and Mike had kind of had our thing. So we like involved them into the content, and then we filmed a couple videos for their channels, and their channels started doing super well. Our channels were obviously still killing it and taking off. And that trip alone, like, I don't know if anybody in OG YouTube golf is watching this podcast, but I remember like leading into COVID, that Purcell Farms trip was huge for us. And then as well, like, I felt like for the YouTube golf world, because I hate to say like COVID helped us because it was such a negative thing, like, and obviously like had such a terrible impact on the world, but we did get super lucky and blessed in the situation where we went to Purcell Farms for a few days and quarantine hit with COVID. So we ended up having to stay like a long time, and we were able to backlog 2 months of content. And so at the very beginning of COVID, I felt like for anybody who did watch GM Golf and Steve, Matt, and then maybe people who kind of started to follow the Bryan Bros or George and Bryce at the time, I feel like almost looked at that as an outlet to like maybe get away from the stress of the world. And like we were able to still bring a positive light, which we were so thankful that we were able to do that, because like nobody was there. We were there alone. So that was like the initial trip for the idea of like, okay, we might actually do another group maybe. And we were just doing personal content. That's where I made my first albatross on camera. It was like glow in the dark, super cool. But fast forward, that's when like conversations led from just like a conversation to more of a real idea, and like, okay, you know, Kendrick, CEO, Joe at the time, and some other people involved on the business side started reaching out to us and coming up with more of a concept of how we could turn social media golf into an actual business and something that could make money long term, not something where, you know, my image is only going to live so far. And so the concept that was pitched was, one day when your image is no longer super valuable, which will happen, social media at the end of the day is a fad. Like, you're going to have your window and then eventually it's going to fade out. And so the concept was like, one day we want to have a brand that lives beyond any individual name. And we think that we can do that. That was kind of the pitch to us. Mm-hmm. And I took it back to Matt and Steve and Micah, and everyone kind of laughed in my face initially. And they, you know, the concept of doing another group scared everybody. And they were like, nope, absolutely not. Obviously, more conversations happened. Micah and I actually went to Dallas to meet with all of these business people, the suits, if you will, in person. And the meeting went really well down here in Frisco. Came back to everybody with the information, and they decided they would be open to having the conversation. So Matt and Steve, we all came down here and just kind of discussed. And that was like the initial start of conversation with Good. I want to get this right again. We come down to Dallas, have conversations. The number one part of conversation was, we got to find a camera guy, because we were talking about filming. Like, we just got to find the right guy. And Colin Ross had reached out to me a long time ago. When I say a long time, it was probably a year prior, when I was doing GM. And we started working together, and he was so freaking dialed. I knew he had kind of had that eye for it. And so I went back to Kansas City just to meet with Colin, I remember. Took him to Topgolf, just Colin and I. And I talked to him about it. And I remember I pitched the idea of Good to him. I said, what are your thoughts here? Does this seem like something you would want to do? And he was just like, Max, you know how Colin is. He was ready to like move tomorrow. Yeah. He was all in. He was like, this is awesome. Like, I don't even want to get paid. I just want more equity if I can. Like, I don't like less salary, more equity. That was his biggest thing. He's like, I want this so bad for like this is awesome. Like, I just love this, which I love to hear. Because it's like, obviously at the beginning stages, when you have guys that are like wanting to be involved long term, it's going to yield a lot of value for the company. But not only that, fast forward, so we found camera guy, Colin. Just initially one, which ultimately led to Max, and I'm going to get into that in a second. But just found Colin. We get into more meetings about like the established group. And we start talking, and like initially it was going to be me, Steve, Matt, Bryce Butler, Micah, and George Bryan. Wow. That was the 6. So we sent it. We went to TBC Danzante Bay. But before we went, I was talking to Colin. I was like, we need another camera guy. We can't do it with just you. We have 6 guys. What are you talking about? Like, there's no way. And he's like, yeah, you're right. And so he called up Max, who Max and Colin live together and have been friends with each other since age 12. Did I get it right?
Around there. I honestly don't know.
I think it's age 12. We'll call it age 12. They lived in LA together and did a bunch of film stuff. So we just trusted Colin. We were like, yeah, bring Max. Like, we'll pay him $1,000 for this trip. And so Max comes on the TPC Danzante Bay. This is the first film week that we had for Good. And it went so freaking well. Like, it went amazing. The vibes were just off the charts. Everyone was so happy to be there. Bryce, George, all of us, like, we all killed it and had great chemistry. And we filmed like a month of content, right? It's probably a month of content. Max never got his $1,000. Instead, he got equity.
Okay.
And ended up joining Good as well as Colin. But when we got back, like, I think there does need to be something that's said on this podcast, because, anybody who was following along at that time, like, saw a month of content with George and Bryce, and then all of a sudden they weren't in content anymore. We did have like a group discussion over like what everyone was going to get, and like how we viewed this going forward. And we wanted to just make sure that everybody was so unbelievably in it at the time. And we sat in a big room. Were you in this conversation, right? It was everybody. I think it was literally every single person. So Colin, Max, me, all the guys, Bryce, George, and we went around the room. And at the end of the conversation, we'd explained the entire format of how Good was going to work and our strategy of building the business. And then we went around the room and we were like, let's just gauge everybody's excitement levels. Okay, let's just go around the room, which I thought was a really good exercise. I was obviously pumped. Matt, Steve, Micah, everybody was pumped. Bryce was kind of skeptical, but he was pumped. He was like really, I remember, excited. I actually can't believe I remember all this, but he was really excited about the fashion standpoint of Good. Like he was really pumped to like design stuff. Yeah. And then it got to George, and George was like a little bit more skeptical and on the edge just because he was doing pro golf at the time as well. He was still pursuing that.
Yeah.
And so our thing was like, we're like, hey, George, you know, if you're pursuing pro golf, no problem in that. But like maybe instead of just like having this be something where you're on the same format as every one of the other guys that is putting everything in their body into this company, like we'll just pay you per shoot to show up. And I think it ended up being something where like he didn't want to do that, which was fine. We were all grown adults, and you know, we were mature enough to know that like people can part ways and like not do something. And that was before something had been like entirely established and a company had, you know, officially been formed and everyone was signed, and you know, we were off to the races. So you know, Bryce and George and Joe as well, those were two of his clients, were involved in it. And then by the start of it, it was just me, Matt, Steve, and Micah, plus, you know, the business side that was going to form it into more of like a, you know, an actual business and not just content. So that was like the whole, I know that was a lot. I feel like I just talked way too much, but that was the whole like starting, and I'm sure I left a lot of details out, but I don't know.
That makes a lot of, I mean, that's like, I feel like as someone that's not educated in that, I do want to hear that. Like it's cool to hear. It's cool to the start of everything, and yeah, I mean, it's
good because I don't want to feel like I don't want to bore anybody.
Holy yap fest.
Yeah, it was like I'm talking so much. I don't know.
No, that was great, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think now where Good has gone, and like obviously with the sale and everything, like it's incredible. It's crazy.
It's wild.
It's like
wild.
And you guys put years of hard work into it, and it's panned out, and now it's like we're entering into like a different phase of it, I feel like. Yeah. And I've been around like not a whole lot for this, but
we need to get into you and like how you started Good. Yes, we do.
Eventually we will, but
we're gonna get into it on this podcast.
Well, no, but like it's cool to see. Like I think I have a little bit of a different view because I did see it kind of through you being friends, but it is cool to see what you guys have built, and very proud to be a part of it now. And yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like it's cool to hear this story, knowing like what has then happened since then. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I appreciate it. Dude, we're freaking proud to have you too.
Yeah, let's go, baby. Let's go. Come on. But no, anyways, can I hammer you with a couple questions I have written down?
Sure.
Yeah. So we just had Grant on the podcast. Like we talked some good stuff. We talked about people. Like we kind of got entry level good. Obviously, people joined good. We had Luke Kwan join. Grant joined. Who am I missing in that? Bubby joined. Obviously,
Bubby was a joiner.
Yeah. But yeah, like we had Grant. The last episode was Grant. Was that pretty cool for you to be able to sit down and like talk to him about stuff you guys have talked about stuff in private, but like to actually do it on camera, like how did that feel?
Yeah, I think it was cool. I will say, because Grant and I have gotten close again, like since the split, if you will, like I feel like it didn't have as much of an impact on me as maybe it might have for people watching. We still didn't get into like a lot of the details, Grant and I. So it was still very surface level. Even like mentioning, like when he mentioned the Callaway stuff and stuff, like we didn't, because I remember when we uploaded a video, we were like, yeah, we threw him the freaking kitchen sink, which like honestly now, if that kitchen sink hit him on the face, it would be like a fly on a wall, because he's making like, I mean, he's killing it.
Yeah.
Like he's doing very well. Okay, at the time, you know, in that moment, we did try. I just remember, like, in the moment, we tried everything that we could. And, yeah, I mean, I think, like, Grant and I have talked about it a lot off camera. So as far as the impact of, like, getting to sit down with him, it was really cool. But probably had a little bit more of an impact on somebody watching it for the first time than me discussing it, because I already knew a lot of that. So, yeah.
I know we talked earlier about like bringing friends in and like trust and all that stuff. Like, does that affect you personally that he has been successful? Because truly, like, you did introduce him to this. As an outsider, I could say that. And I know, like, that's kind of an awkward thing. But, like, do you feel any sort of weirdness with that? Or are you more so proud of what he's been able to build?
It was a little hard initially, because it was like, initially it sucked. I will say, like, there's no way around it. Initially, you know, obviously, at least in my brain at the time, it's like, okay, I took a leap of faith on this guy. Like, he was out of college, and now we're at, you know, Good is doing well, and he's doing well, and all of a sudden, like, we're done. It, in a weird way, it feels kind of like a breakup. That's what I would say is a good analogy. Like, I know you just hear of, like, the cliche, like, oh, I dated this girl, I gave her so much, and like, she's gone or whatever. Like, say it's like similar to that, but in a business way.
Sure.
So initially, it was hard, but after a couple months, like, we were able to mend that relationship pretty easily. And, like, as far as how he's doing now, super happy for him. Yeah. Genuinely. Like, I really am pumped that he's found his, like, in a way, I feel like Good was kind of his gateway into it. But now he's found his true calling, which he said it on the podcast. Like, he loves playing golf with other pros and, like, good, talented players. That's not as much of, like, a drive for me. But for him, that's, like, his big thing, and, like, it makes me happy that he's found that. Yeah.
I think that's fair, and I think, like, I knew Grant. Like, you guys came to, like, Loch Lloyd and, like, did some videos with us, so, like, I knew him, like, pretty surface level, but felt like I knew him. And I feel like at the end of the day, you do have to do what's best for you, like, yourself in your current life. And if he had opportunity and something that he knew that he could set himself up with, I understand it. Like, obviously, we're in different positions. I wasn't a part of Good or anything like that at that time, but you do have to do, like, at the end of the day, we all have to look out for ourselves, and I feel like you can't blame him for what, you know, transpired, but it does, like, have to sting a little bit as, like,
yeah, well, it's like you weigh both. It's like, at this, you know, from this standpoint, it sucks because you feel like you gave somebody a lot, and then, like, you know, it's just like clean slate, it's done. But then at the other standpoint, you know, it's human nature. Yeah. At the end of the day, like, it doesn't really matter where you came from. If it's like bouncing from a job to another job. Like, I just imagine if I was working in the corporate world and I got hired at this company and I was doing well, but then this other company came to me and was like, we have this crazy job position. Or, like, a better analogy would be a sports team. Yeah. Yeah. You know, if you're on a sports team, you're playing for the Chiefs, and, like, you get a trade offer that's just whatever. You get this crazy freaking salary, like, 4-year contract. Yeah. Super max. Like, you're going to take it. Yeah. And obviously, it wasn't like he had that. Yeah. But he had the idea in his head, which that's where I just respect Grant so much. And this is, like, in a way, it kind of reminds me of, like, when I got into social media, of just, he took a leap of faith. You know, he had a decision to make where it was either, this was very comfortable, and I won't give numbers, but, like, what was offered was more than I was making within Good. Like, I saw his value, and I wanted to make sure that I did everything I possibly could, just because I knew how much of a value he was to the company. And he still looked at that, and this is where I respect Grant. He still looked at that, and he said, this would be very comfortable for me. if I just took this. This would be so comfortable for me, and I could live life and like still do my personal channel and probably do just great. But I'm gonna go take this leap of faith, and that's where I have to respect Grant.
100%. Yeah. So leaving the Grant conversation, which thank you for airing some of that out. I mean, it's good to hear. I'm sure the people are gonna enjoy that.
No problem.
Here's one that just has puzzled a lot of people over the years. AJ Pujols.
Oh,
Our boy.
that is our boy.
I mean, great kid.
Can I just have you elaborate about AJ Pujols real quick?
Okay, so I met AJ through Garrett.
Yeah.
Christ Prep alum, a fellow Christ Prepper. Great kid. We used to play golf together a lot. Me, Garrett, AJ. I remember one time you and Micah came out to Loch Lloyd with me and AJ, and we played golf like all day, hung out. But everyone always wants to know what happened to AJ with Good, but AJ is like thriving.
Yeah.
Like he's killing it. Are you comfortable speaking on anything of that with Good?
Yeah, I'll keep speaking on it, but I want to like just keep elaborating.
Just
I'm
on
enjoying
AJ?
listening to you talking about.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I've known AJ for a while. Garrett's known AJ for a long time. Like we used to play golf together, played in the same high school team. You played with him. I played the year after, so not actually with him.
Yep.
Great family. I've always loved that kid, but especially when I joined Good, a lot of the comments were just like, "Where's AJ? What happened to AJ? What's going on with that?" And I know, from what I know, I don't want to get this wrong, but I know that he's working in the sports industry.
Yes.
In Houston.
Correct.
Is that right? Houston?
Woodlands. I think Woodlands
area.
Yeah.
Do you know what he's actually doing?
Yeah, he's working in the, I want to say the finance side of the sports industry.
Okay. Yeah.
So he had a really cool opportunity within the sports world. And I think like AJ, he's still one of my best friends, and like we haven't hung out recently, but like he texted me happy Thanksgiving, and told him I missed him. I'd miss that. I miss AJ a lot.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I don't think he was literally like for probably 2 years in high school, he was like my best friend. We hung out every single day, would go to his house, have sleepovers. He would come over, and like we just did everything together. I don't know. I felt like I related to him a lot, but yeah, I don't know. He just got like a really cool opportunity, and like as far as in the social media world, I think he was trying to kind of find his place.
Yeah.
And it was like something that just didn't happen at the right time. And, you know, when you get an opportunity that shows up in that time of life, like, you should take it.
Yeah.
But I would love to, honestly, like, I need to call him. Like, this is a good reminder. Check in on people.
Yeah.
I need to check in on AJ.
I'm so bad about that.
I'm terrible.
It's just hard. It's hard to like keep in like. Well, what's good about like good friends is like you always can pick right back up. Like
Yeah.
like people that you truly know. Like everyone knows people get busy. People like you have a lot of stuff going on in your life. Everyone does. It's like a true like good friend can pick up from wherever. You know, it's like you don't have to grind through. Yeah.
I feel like a friend that takes a lot of maintenance. Like you need to like keep up with them, and if you don't, like they're gonna get upset with you or something. Like feels a little more fake, a little more surface level.
I agree.
Like Steve, dude, like even Steve and I, like this is something to talk about. Like I've known him since I was born. Consider Steve my brother through everything that's happened in our lives, you know, after the start of Good and everything. Like other than when we film, Steve and I don't really see each other that much. But when we talk and like whenever we do hang out, it's just right back where we left off. It's like you said.
Yeah. That's what like my friends from home, like I don't get to talk to them a ton, but every time I go home, it's like right back into that like friend group. Like those are the best kind of friends. Like you
100%.
can't. You don't need to like maintenance your friends. Like it
Yeah,
should
but
never.
if you don't talk to me for like a day, I'll be like, "Are you mad at me?"
Yeah, Garrett starts calling me and he's like, "What the heck's
like,
going
bro,
on? Like,
do you hate me?
do you hate me? Do you?
Like, are you mad at me? Are you okay?" But that's typically what I do.
Yeah,
with Blake.
Garrett's really bad about that. Okay, so like AJ we covered, Grant we covered. Who else is left? Luke Quan and Micah. Is that it?
Yeah, as
we touched
far
on
as,
Bryce
like,
Butler.
Yeah, you're talking about people who've been in the good verse, if you will.
Yeah, like, do you and Luke talk at all anymore?
Not really. No.
Yeah.
At all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll leave it there.
Okay.
Micah, do you guys...
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Mike and I, every once in a while, like,
Yeah.
we just, I mean, he's my cousin, so Mike and I check in every once in a while. I mean, I'm going to see him again soon. Like, we're definitely doing a reunion video.
Whoa. I have heard about this.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. No, we're actually planning on doing a reunion with Grant and Micah. Like the original Good Squad, Stumps versus Twigs.
Dude.
Plus potentially a knockout.
Where will that take place?
Probably in Florida. Wow. Yeah, but Mike and I are, we're great.
Of course. I mean, Mike is a dog.
Yeah.
Great dude.
Honestly, like, I don't know how to explain Luke, though. Like, the reason that was such a short answer is, we don't talk. Like, that was the question. We never talk.
Yeah.
I don't know the last time we did talk.
Even when he was in Good? Was it, you guys were never that close or what?
No, we were, I mean, I was the one who got him into Good.
Okay.
So, like, we were at one point.
Well, I guess we've been talking for a long time. We can kind of start working our way towards the door. This is kind of a double part question. I'll start with the first one. What was the lowest point of your career? Like let's go since Good. Since Good started. What's your ultimate low point?
Because there have been, I mean, honestly, there have been some low points where I'm like,
while you're thinking, I want to say something.
Yeah.
This is something that Garrett probably won't even want me to share. But one thing that I've seen him do, when Garrett is feeling down, he does very nice things for other people. I don't say that about you. We were one time, Garrett was in not a great mood, and we drove to In-N-Out. I'm just going to share this because I want to share it. But
wait, this is a cool story.
But we drove to In-N-Out. Garrett was not doing well. We're listening to like some sad tunes in the car or whatever. We pulled up to the window at In-N-Out. I think we ordered like 2 cheeseburgers, whatever. He gives the lady in the window just $100 bill, just like randomly. Like when Garrett is feeling down, he's very like you're very giving and thoughtful. It's very sweet. But like he gave this lady $100 bill, and you would have thought it's the best thing that's ever happened to her. And I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like one of the things I think like what I always think about whenever I'm like feeling a little bit down, if you will, is like, who am I? It's just like it's a good reminder to kind of like why, like who am I? I addressed it about like me acting like a baby on the golf course. Like that's a good example of like, who am I? Why I shouldn't be upset about this right now. This is like a very minuscule thing in the grand scheme of things. Like, so I think when it comes to that's a good point actually. I don't think I really noticed that, but I guess I do that whenever I'm like a little. You're gonna like start to piss me off.
I need to get you feeling bad more often.
You gotta
I need money.
You're gonna piss me off more often, so I just start handing you $100 bills.
I'm gonna take Garrett to Vegas and then make him feel really depressed. Oh my gosh.
That's the key.
That's the key. Yeah, that's my cheat code.
Oh gosh, dude.
And if you don't have one, man, like that's all good. I got plenty of questions.
So since the start of Good, it was probably, and it's not. It wasn't Micah's fault, but it was when Micah left.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I think there's a reason I don't really talk about it as much as, like, I openly can talk about the Grant one. But when Micah left, that one, it hurt a little bit more just because it was, like, this is my cousin, Like, I remember it a lot more vividly in the Shattuck house. Yeah, he gave us a call. Like, it was a group call, and he was just like, I think I'm doing my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to him. I was like, dude, we're cousins. Like, I just want to make sure that we're good.
Mm-hmm.
That was my biggest thing. Was like, I just want to make sure that we're all good moving forward, and we can be like, Yeah. So, I mean, that one, like, that was tough because it was a matter of 3 months where it was like, in a way, like, it's like you said, like, you build trust with these people, and you build, like, this whole squad. Like, we had this squad with Grant, Micah, and it was like, what we look back on Good, and, like, everyone's like, dude, that was prime Good. Like, that's what everyone says.
Mm-hmm.
And it really felt that way. Like, in all of our minds, we were like, we were doing everything the way it was supposed to be done. It just felt right. And then in a matter of like 2 to 3 months, there was 2 very, very important members that left. And I think that was the hardest thing because I wore that. Like, I wore that more than anybody else in the company.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Micah was a guy that I brought back. Grant was a guy that I got into social media, YouTube golf in general. And both those people leave. In a way, I feel responsible. I'm like, obviously they've brought a lot of value to Good, but like, in a way, I feel guilty. Like, I feel like this was kind of my mistake in a way.
Yeah.
And so when Micah left, it was right before the Good Cup, and it was our biggest content plan that we had ever had. And so I took the responsibility of being like, you know, he's gone, so I have to find the guy. Like, we have to have a 6th guy there. And I ended up reaching out to Luke Kwan, and he came on that first Good week. Just another guy, you know, another guy that I got into Good that freaking left.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I don't know. It's like, it was a tough couple months with like Micah and Grant leaving. I would say that was, as far as like after Good starting, that was probably the lowest point. Just because it's like, dude, is this even going to work? At that point in time, I think a lot of us were kind of doubting ourselves. We're like, this was doing so well, and now it's just like flipping a table on your face in a way.
Yeah.
It's like everything kind of gets flipped upside down, and you just gotta adapt and try your best to keep a level head and keep. Here's what I'll say: if I was just a business guy or something, like if I was just behind the scenes and I was just watching it unfold and I was making decisions, it'd be easier. But when you have to like have this happen and then go film the next day, and you have to like put on a face,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to act all like everything's okay and you're not terribly upset over people leaving, like that's probably what makes it a little harder.
That's fair. I mean, you're so like, you do have to put on a face. Like, that you cannot be, you can't talk about stuff. You have to be like locked up. You got to be on, like, you got to be on so much. Like, you cannot hide, you can't hide, you have to hide every single last emotion that you're feeling. And and also it being your cousin is very hard, but it just seems like you feel like a sense of responsibility for bringing these people in and them leaving. But that's not really the case, you know? It's like,
Yeah, I mean, but in the moment, it's like you take the responsibility, and like that's what I did. But there have been there have been a handful of times that I feel like I've had to put on a face, and that was like one of them. It's not been very often. I will genuinely say, like, if I do not want to film, absolutely, like, to the nth degree, if in every bone in my body says like today is just not the day, like I just don't have it mentally, I won't do it. And it's very rare. Like, that almost never happens, because filming and doing YouTube golf, that is my passion.
yeah.
But it's happened a few times, and it definitely is. It's a little hard. But
I do want to ask you, Garrett, so this is going to be a two-parter. It's going to be first about you. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
okay,
Where are you going to be?
where's part 2?
Part 2 will be where do you see good in 5 years?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, in 5 years, I would like to be kind of on the outward stages of this house.
Mm-hmm.
I would like this house to be like my 6 or 7 year home. And I would like to be married.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I hope potentially there's a kid on the way by then. That's where I see 5 years. I don't see 5 years as anything like financial success or anything like that.
Sure.
As far as the 5 years thing, I want to be married, kid. Like, I would love for my family to all live close to me.
Yeah.
I love my sister. I
Yeah.
love her husband and her 2 kids. My nephews are amazing. I love my mom. I love my dad. And I don't get to see them enough. Like, that's honestly the one thing in my life that I wish I got to do more. Like, so I would say that would be like my definition of a successful life in the next 5 years.
Like having family close, having a kid. And I think that's the right thing with like money too. It's like, I agree with that. Like I don't think anyone should necessarily have like financial goals, but more so being like comfortable. If you can comfortably like raise a family and not have to like stress about money, that is like the ultimate goal. You know?
They say, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And the thing with money in the Bible, it talks about, money is not the root of all evil. It's the love for money is the root of all evil.
Is greed.
It's just greed.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with food. They say like eating food is not a bad thing. Being gluttonous towards food and like wanting to feast on 6 or 7 pizzas one night, like that's a problem.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it does sound great. But it's the same thing with wine.
Yeah.
It's like in the Bible, God turned water into wine.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, drinking wine is not a sin. It's getting drunk off wine and wasted.
Yeah.
That is where it becomes sinful.
100%. Yeah.
So it's very interesting.
Yeah.
That's the way I view it. So.
Yeah. I like that. Where do you...
Sorry, go ahead.
No. Oh, did you have something to add to that?
I was gonna answer your next question.
Okay.
You can
Well,
ask it.
can I phrase it?
Sure. Go ahead.
So where do you see good in 5 years?
We were just blessed enough to raise $45 million in capital. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody who's supported the content and the brand that has made that possible. So I think in the next 5 years, I think doing another raise would be a huge goal. But seeing it as more of a established brand that people in 5 years, hopefully a lot of people. The goal is in 5 years, I hope a lot of people don't know who I am, but they know who Good is.
The brand.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Every day, the closer I can get to that is a day that I'm fulfilling the goal. The goal is to create something that lasts longer than me.
Mm-hmm.
In 100 years, 50 years, like I want it to be a legacy thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want Good Golf to be a brand that is like a Titleist, is like a
Callaway. We really appreciate you, Garrett. Thank you for because like I feel like I'm kind of in the boat with the viewer right here. Like I know a lot about your life, but it is cool to pick your brain and see where you're at and all that stuff. So thank you for being open to answering a lot of questions, a lot of
Thank you.
interesting questions. I feel like we touched a lot here. So if you guys did stick out to this part of the video, make sure you are liked and subscribed to the YouTube channel. If it's on Spotify, give us a follow. We're having a blast with this. It's not ending anytime soon. This is kind of Garrett and I's like baby. Like we want to take this thing
that's such a good
so
point.
far.
I want to take it as far as you could take a podcast.
You want to know what I want?
What?
I went to UFC with Kendrick in Chicago, and the Pardon My Take guys I love. I know them decently well. I know you know them well too. At UFC, they were sitting in the same section as me and Kendrick, but they showed them on the camera, and they're like, "Pardon My Take podcast."
Good podcast.
I want me and Garrett. Come on,
Yeah.
I want me and Garrett at some sporting event, and
Pardon my
I
Blake.
want it right there.
Pardon My Blake podcast.
But that's what I want. Let's take this thing up there. Let's go.
Let's do it.
I want it. But yeah,
I'm in.
appreciate you guys a ton. Garrett, anything in closing?
Yeah, thank you all for watching. Sorry if I talked too much. I appreciate you guys watching. I feel like I shared a lot, but yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It was about you. You should have shared a lot.
Oh, thank you.
But all right, y'all have a good one. We will see you in the next episode.